Speaking with you as always, and we are heading for a very important event. So we will touch base with you after the US elections and see what what turmoil or turmoil it generates or does not generate. But Ajay spoke about IndusInd Bank very interestingly. The stock has fired up the imagination along with ICICI Bank of investors, and they have turned very pro-bank Nifty. As you can see, the rally is continuing for the second day with a 2% gain on the index, but we want to concentrate on IndusInd Bank. Good operating profit growth. Operating profit growth was at a record low, but loan growth has been impacted from the corporate side. Retail loan growth flat. Those were some of the highlights of the results. We have Sumant Katpalia, the Managing Director and CEO of IndusInd Bank, joining us. Sumant, good morning. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Well, your results have been greeted with a thumbs up, but I'm going to start first with the results. We have to start with what has fired the market's imagination on the M&A space. Just tell us, have you had a conversation with Uday Kotak? Have the promoters had a conversation? Update us with whatever you can.
So, good morning, Lata, and pleasure talking to you. Thank you for inviting me. The promoters, we had a talk with the promoters, and because it really affects the promoter of the bank, and according to them, this is speculative and malicious, and I think there is no truth behind it. In fact, Uday Kotak also made a statement that there is no truth behind it. So I think as of now, we have not seen anything, and this is what my information is. And if you look at us, we are growing well, and I don't see a reason for us to have a merger right now. And I think so that's where we are. If there are any more questions on this, we should direct them to the promoters.
Got that point. Mr. Katpalia, good morning. So let's talk about the business. Do you get a sense that the worst is well and truly over for IndusInd Bank now? And from here on, can you go back to the kind of glory days that IndusInd had, say, 2 or 3 years back?
So I think if you look at the first half since I've taken over, my objective was to realign the balance sheet. And I think the focus has been on creating provisions, getting more granularization on deposits, and I think churning the corporate book, and that process is continuing. Having said that, I think we are very well covered on the balance sheet, and I think the second half of the year, and with the COVID playing out, I think the growth is back. And in my opinion, specifically 3 segments where we will see the growth, and which are high yielding segments for us, which is the vehicle finance segment, the microfinance segment, and our gems and jewelry segment, and the secured loan segments. I think all these segments we are seeing growth back, and I think you should see a better growth in the assets book this quarter.
Okay. Sumant, 1 minute. Sonia, apologies. I didn't finish my second question to you. You said the promoters consider this news item speculative. Yeah, I agree with you that I should be asking the promoters this question. But would you be in the know whether they are going to increase their stake? There is talk that they have asked permission to increase their stake from 15 to 26. Is that true? Have you heard from the Reserve Bank? Is that any update that you can give us?
So they have requested for an increase in stake to 26%. But as far as I know, there has been no communication from the Reserve Bank of India. I think there are some governance, circular, which is coming out on what should be the term of the CEO, what should be the governance, and how many years. So I think there is some clarifications coming out, and post that clarification, we'll be able to say whether this stake will be increased or not. There are these type of issues which are pending right now.
Okay. Sumant, hi, good morning. So just coming back to the business then, you were talking about growth. Your collection numbers on the commercial vehicle space have improved to more than 95% in September. I just wanted to understand what is the trend going ahead in terms of collections as well as growth. And also in the microfinance space, it's still recovering. I mean, it was 93% collections in October. How long do you think it would take for normalcy to return?
So let me address the microfinance first, and then I'll take the commercial vehicle. In the microfinance state, there were intermittent lockdowns in 5 states. and you know, this business is all about accessibility. The accessibility was affected as a consequence of the intermittent lockdowns. And there were 3 states which opened up in the month of August, and in the month of October, I think the balance 2 states have opened up and we are seeing collections coming back. That's why when I said the number of 91 moving to 93, those states have started showing improvement. Some of these states are West Bengal and Assam. Yeah, so where we had a portfolio issue, and because the accessibility was not there for the clients. Having said that, we also seeing that we've disbursed loans. We disbursed 28 lakh loans during this time. And what we are seeing is that once the client has paid up, we go back and do a disbursal. It creates the confidence in the client. 99.8% of our clients are paying. So there was never an issue in rural India. The issue was accessibility. So that's on the microfinance side, and I believe you will see growth coming back in the microfinance. It's a very good business and we are completely committed to it. On the commercial vehicles, on the vehicle finance side, we have 30% of our portfolios is in vehicle finance, and we are market leaders in this business. You know, either we're number 1 or number 2 in most of these businesses. If you look at our commercial vehicle business, which is about 50% of the 30%, which is 15% of our book. So there are different segments of that business. So if you look at light commercial vehicle, the growth is back. In fact, it's 14% up year on year, and we are not seeing any recovery issues, and the freight availability as well as the freight demand is back on that business. Okay. I think the issue is in the medium and the heavy commercial vehicle, which is about 56% down as we talk today against last year, and last year was down 30% over the prior year. Now what we are seeing, there are specific instances where the business has got affected. This business has got affected in the luxury coach segment. This business has got affected in the trailer segment, which is the trailer attached to the vehicle for cement and everything, that has got affected. So I think where it has not got affected is the tipper segment, where the business is continuing and we don't see a risk. Our collection efficiencies are improving, and as the COVID plays out, the freight availability is improving. Secondly, the capacity utilization, because of the norms which were declared by the government, the capacity utilization had increased in the trucks, and that would have played out by March or June, depending on if the COVID had not come in. That I think will play out by November or December now, and I think the first quarter of next year and the last month of this year, I think you will see growth coming back in the MHCV segment, and we are very, very positive about it. On the collections, we continue to believe that we will outperform the market because of the way we run this business. We are in the SRTO segment, which is the owner-operated segment, and we have 30 years of experience behind it. And I believe our clients are very, very loyal, and 70% of our client base is repeat users for us.
Okay, so Suman, I wanted more color on vehicles, and you have given as much, I think. But still, if you can tell me, what is the collection in the MHCV segment? You pointed out that that's fairly substantial. Over there, one was expecting more slippages. Your slippages are very much under control. But specifically in vehicles, were the slippages high?
Yeah. So no, the vehicles, the slippages were not high. In fact, there is there's a small commercial vehicle segment which is called the three-wheeler segment. Yeah, there our collection efficiency is 80%. Okay. Yeah, in the light commercial vehicle we have about 97%. In the medium and heavy commercial we are 93%.
Oh, 93. Okay. Okay. And what about SME? You all have increased your exposure to a small corporate quarter on quarter and to mid corporates from about 36,000 crore to 39,000 crore. Did you take advantage of the corporate guarantee? Is that why it has gone up? What is the asset quality assessment?
So Lata, we only use 1,600 crores of the guarantee scheme. We believe that we have to be prudent while issuing the guarantee scheme, and these were given to clients whose businesses were running and were need in business. I think that gives us the strength that most of our clients are liquid and they're churning on the portfolio. 95% is the churning on the portfolio, and we specifically like the BBG segment where the growth is coming in, which is the small MSME where the ticket sizes are 25 to 50 lakhs. We are seeing very good growth coming back out there in that segment, and clients which you acquire at this time are the best clients, in my opinion, because if their business is continuing and you're seeing sales turnover and churning in their account, we find that very attractive right now.
Okay. Oh, your overall corporate book actually shrank 2%. Is that a conscious decision, and is that likely to be the trend?
No, that's not the likely decision. I told you initially that I'm churning my book. You see what had happened, the bank was focused on large exposures and term loans. I'm converting these and selling down some books. So there was a 1900 crore repayments and sell down which happened. Of course, the disbursements are also happening, but disbursements are lower than they think. We are focusing on AA, AAA, more towards working capital and term loan. And I think A rated and above is where our focus, and 75% of our disbursements happen in that category.
Okay, I just wanted your thoughts.
So it's going to
on,
take time when you're changing gear.
Sure, got that.
Sorry.
Wanted your thoughts on the credit costs. I was going through a report which suggested, in fact, Nomura is building in a credit cost of 300 basis points plus for FY21. What is your own assumption that you're working with, given that you are still seeing some amount of stress in spaces like medium and heavy commercial vehicles?
See, we already have provided, if you look at it, is 2,155 crores for COVID. We've already provided for that. So when you look at our cost today, we've already provided for all of this. And we will have a low digit restructuring which will happen. And we will take provisions which are higher than what the regulatory mandate is to keep ourselves safe for the next year. So if for that reason the credit cost is elevated, I think it will be. But it's not because we are seeing flows, it is because we want to have a conservative stance moving into next year. And as we get into the next year, if these costs do not come in, you will see a reversal which will happen. So I think it's more conservative, it's more prudent and more balance sheet oriented right now.
No, but you also have taken provision for 2 standard assets, right? And that is only a part provision.
We have, yes.
What if that turns bad?
Yeah, that was about 300 crores. Those 300 crores is what we've taken. None of that is turned bad up till now. And I think if you look at, we will have a restructuring, and we don't want to take 10%. We will, I think it will be an elevated provision, because different parts of the business will require different types of provision. So for example, in the large corporate, you may take 10%. But in an unsecured, if you've done some restructuring, I will take 60% provision.
Okay. Suman, how are you different from Sopti? What are you going to do differently?
I think it's very difficult to compare two different characteristics.
No, what I meant is in terms of priorities.
I think
in terms
Mr.
of your
Sopti,
business
Mr. Sopti built Mr. Sopti built a very good franchise, and he's left behind a great franchise. So, we should give credit where it's due. I think my focus will be on 4 to 5 areas, and I think first is the granularization of liability, and you've seen what happens when you don't granularize liabilities. And I think it's, as you grow your balance sheet, I think granularization of liabilities will play a very, very big. I think the second focus will be to maintain your market share in the vehicle finance as well as your MFI business. And I think we will continue to maintain or increase our market share. We like these businesses, and they're very accretive to the bottom line as well as to the ROA of the bank. Okay. Third, I think diversify Bharat Financial. So we are seeing diversification of Bharat Financial coming in. The fourth is digitization, specifically in 2 areas where I think we can create a differentiator. One is on the SME segment, and we will tie up, we will launch a new business vertical in the SME, which will be completely digital driven and connected to marketplaces. And we believe that there is a huge opportunity in India to run this business in a transparent manner. And I think the used car portal and Digitus youth car portal, and I think we did 782 crores of disbursal in October. And I think if we can create value added services for the client, I think we can take a huge leading space in this. This space was occupied by NBFCs.
Okay.
And I think there is a huge opportunity for banks in this place. So I think those are the key priorities which we are working, and of course risk management and realignment of the corporate book.
Okay, just give me two numbers. Loan growth for second half and margins for second half.
You will not get those numbers, Lata.
Okay.
I think loan growths are dependent on how the growth is happening. It's unfair. You will see growth coming back. I'm cautiously optimistic as we grow the book.
Okay.
And I think margins we've given a range bound 4.15 to 4.25. We will continue to be in that range.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Sumant, it was a pleasure speaking with you. Wish you a very happy and successful innings at the helm of IndusInd. Thank you very much for joining us. We have to take a break on that note, but we're not done with banks. After this break, we're going to continue our conversation and analysis of banking results. Chandrasekhar Ghosh, Managing Director and CEO of Bandhan Bank, will be joining in.